Hold on to your collecting tools as we uncover two overlooked state quarters that can command prices far beyond face value. On the surface, Mississippi and Kansas might read as ordinary issues from a long-running series, but beneath the familiar silver tones lie minting quirks, surprise errors, and auction results that can turn a handful of spare coins into headline-grabbing lots. Whether you started chasing quarters as a youngster in the 1990s, rediscovered the hobby in recent decades, or simply found a roll stashed away in a drawer, you'll appreciate the thrill of spotting one of these rarities in circulation. This is not clickbait hype or get-rich-quick chatter. Instead, it's an insider's look at design details, origin stories, and market realities that seasoned collectors relish. As we begin with the Magnolia State and its 2004 release, expect to learn how to spot a valuable piece, understand its historical roots, and follow its path through record-breaking auctions. Then we'll shift our attention to Kansas, a state quarter with its own set of surprises. The story begins in the late 1990s, when the United States Mint launched its ambitious 50-state quarters program to celebrate each state's heritage and art. Mississippi's turn arrived on February 2, 2004, as the 32nd design in that series, and the Mint tapped sculptor John R. Sinek to capture the state's spirit. On the obverse, we see John Flanagan enduring George Washington profile, but the reverse shines a spotlight on an eagle in mid-flight clutching arrows, framed by 3 magnolia blossoms, a tribute to the state flower and an emblem of resilience. Production ran at both Philadelphia and Denver, with roughly 505 million pieces struck in Philadelphia and about 612 million in Denver. Despite those hefty figures, distribution favored southern banks and retailers, leaving pockets elsewhere relatively untouched. Early die adjustments created subtleties in bloom detail and talon definition, and those nuances rapidly became the focus of sharp-eyed collectors. By the time Mississippi's coin entered general circulation, demand for state-specific narratives had peaked, making this release particularly ripe for error hunting. Today, tracing the Mississippi quarter's origin is about far more than a release date. It's a crash course in design choices, mint policy, and the relentless pursuit of numismatic treasures. When evaluating any Mississippi quarter for rarity, start by examining those magnolia blossoms and the eagle's talons under a high-quality loupe. Most circulation strikes yielded softer petal lines and slightly obscured feather separation in the eagle's wing and claws. Coins that escape the workshop floor with razor-sharp petal edges and crisply defined talon points stand out immediately. Beyond that, several error varieties elevate value even further. One well-known anomaly is the fill die error, where grease or debris in the die recesses left the bloom's lower petals looking faint or entirely obscured, an effect that shows up in less than 1% of pieces from certain Philadelphia batches. Another collectible variation involves a double die obverse, most apparent on the letters pluribus and united, which can exhibit subtle doubling. A rare few examples even display die clashes on the eagle's wing, where die faces collided before polishing, leaving a tiny raised scar that has collectors lining up at grading services. Finally, keep an eye out for the elusive proof-like circulation samples, which exhibit mirror-like fields and frosted devices even outside mint and proof sets. Philadelphia and Denver batches can be distinguished by examining the tiny mint mark beside the date. Denver's D often shows a consistent depth and placement, whereas Philadelphia quarters, unmarked since 1965, escape detection until you flip the coin over. Any Mississippi quarter that melds proof-like reflectivity with razor-clear design elements should trigger a second look, and a possible trip to the grading service. Market values for error-free examples can start modestly. Average circulated grades trade for roughly $3 to $7 among dealers. Uncirculated mint state 60 pieces typically list in the $10 to $20 range, while MS-65 coins can command $25 to $40. Once you push into higher mint states, prices climb steeply. An MS-67 specimen fetched $960 in a 2019 Heritage auction, marking one of the highest recorded sales for this issue. Proof-like circulation pieces have set even stronger benchmarks. One PF 69 Ultra Cameo example hammered at $1,200 during a July 2021 sale. Fill die errors vary widely depending on severity, but sharp MS-64 specimens often bring $150 to $200, and the most dramatic blanks approach $400 under the right gavel. Population reports show fewer than a dozen certified MS-67 Plus examples, so competition among collectors keeps prices buoyant. Auction records reveal that presentation set quarters still in their original mint envelopes can sell for twice the loose coin value, with one sealed example earning $750 in late 2023. Staying current with auction house results and dealer lists will help you gauge realistic price ranges before committing to any purchase or sale. Collectors love the lore that surrounds this coin. In 2005, a county clerk in Mississippi discovered a misdirected batch of uncirculated rolls lodged in a storage closet for over a month. Those rolls contained coins struck with an early die that produced a bolder eagle and more pronounced petals, specimens that later appeared as a single eBay lot and sold for $2,100. Some enthusiasts refer to certain lightly toned quarters as golden magnolias, specimens that developed warm amber hues over time and now command premiums for their one-of-a-kind charm. Rumor has it that a midnight strike variant exists, only a few handfuls thought to have been struck after standard production hours, displaying extra metal flow around the talons. While the mint has never confirmed the story, photographic evidence has surfaced in collector forums, fueling numismatic folklore. Official mint presentation cards sent to state dignitaries sometimes included pristine Mississippi quarters mounted inside, and intact examples with original packaging rarely hit the market. Such pieces regularly attract bids above $800, proving that provenance and story can turn a common date into a cabinet highlight. Value shifts dramatically with condition. A lively MS-63 coin may trade for $20 to $30, but an MS-64 example with stronger luster and sharper details can fetch up to $60. In MS-65, where strike quality meets minimal contact marks, dealers often list coins between $80 and $100. Yet once you reach MS-66 and above, availability plummets and prices soar. MS-66 coins can top $250, while the handful of MS-67s certified across grading services vault into $400 territory or more. Grading grades like MS-68 are virtually non-existent, making any raw candidate for that score a hot ticket at auction. Proof-like and deep cameo specimens, PF 69 DCAM, can eclipse $50 in proof sets and climb into the hundreds when offered individually. Even factors like toning and bag marks carry weight. A spot-free field will outprice a coin with distracting abrasions, and reflective mirror surfaces can turn a $50 piece into a $150 conversation starter. With the Magnolia States quarter fully explored, consider how small details, mint mark placement, die polish and production quirks, drive big differences in value. Whether you own a roll of Mississippi quarters or track them one by one, recognizing these characteristics will transform your collection. As we conclude our look at Mississippi, we're ready to head west. The Kansas quarter, struck in 2005, features a charging buffalo under a waving banner and a lone star. At first glance it may appear straightforward, but errors like repunched mint marks, off-center strikes and subtle die cracks make Kansas an equally thrilling hunt. In our next segment, we'll explore its background, spot the telling features and examine auction highlights that turn an everyday coin into a standout treasure. Shifting our gaze from the magnolias of Mississippi to the sweeping plains of the Sunflower State, the 2005 Kansas quarter invites collectors into a world of charging bison, waving banners and hidden minting surprises. Released on March 28, 2005, as the 34th issue in the 50-state quarter series, it marked Kansas's moment in the national spotlight, but its true allure lies in the subtle production quirks and design flourishes that seasoned enthusiasts chase long after the initial rush. You might already have one tucked into a piggy bank or mixed into your change, yet only a handful carry the telltale signs of error, exceptional strike or remarkable provenance that push their value into four-figure territory. Back in the late 1990s, when the mint embarked on the ambitious mission to celebrate each state's heritage through circulating coinage, Kansas was eager to showcase its frontier spirit. Sculptor Jim Licoretz captured that ethos by pairing the state's nickname, Sunflower State, with imagery that recalls prairie life and the settlement era. The reverse depicts a lone star nestled above a freshly plowed field, with a buffalo striding purposefully across the foreground and the state motto, Ad astra per aspera, to the stars through difficulties, etched in the sky. On the obverse, John Flanagan classic Washington portrait remains, but it's the reverse that transforms this quarter into a mini-time capsule of regional pride. The mint struck roughly 338 million pieces in Denver and about 250 million in Philadelphia, yet uneven distribution left some areas flooded while others received just a trickle, creating ripe conditions for both common circulation strikes and elusive rarities. When you hold a Kansas quarter under the loupe, 3 visual cues will guide you toward a premium find. First, focus on the buffalo's muscular shoulder hump and the banner's stars. Sharp edges and crisp relief on these elements indicate a well-struck, high-grade specimen. Second, inspect the plow lines in the field. Early dyes yielded deeper furrows, while later polished dyes smoothed those lines, reducing contrast. Third, mint mark placement can be telling. The Denver D tends to sit closer to the rim, whereas Philadelphia pieces lack a visible mark, as the mint refrained from appending P until 1980. A strong strike from Denver that exhibits deep field lines and unbroken banner stars already sets the coin apart from everyday change. Errors add another layer of excitement. A small subset of Kansas quarters exhibits repunched mint marks, where the D appears doubled or shadowed. These are most evident on coins graded MS65 or higher, and certified examples often command 2 to 3 times the value of their clean counterparts. Off-center strikes, even as slight as 1 to 2 mm, reveal portions of the die collar and rim, creating an uneven field that some collectors prize for its scarcity. Die cracks along the buffalo's back or across the banner are also documented, offering distinctive raised lines that function like collector fingerprints. For the truly adventurous, look out for the infamous wide AM error, in which the letters A and M in America appear spaced apart due to a misaligned working hub, an anomaly found in fewer than a dozen confirmed pieces and capable of fetching well over $1,000 when authenticated. Price guides for standard Kansas quarters remain modest in lower grades, but they spike dramatically with quality and error status. Loose circulated examples trade for about $2 to $5, while uncirculated MS60 coins start near $10. By the time you reach MS63, dealers often price between $30 and $50, and coins graded MS65 routinely cross the $100 threshold. Exceptional MS66 specimens have sold for upwards of $350, especially when tied to a reputable auction house. One notable sale occurred in December 2022, when a repunched mintmark MS65 example hammered at $2,400 after spirited bidding, proof that niche errors command outsized interest. Proof-like circulation examples, those unofficial spur-of-the-moment strikes with mirror-like fields, can fetch $150 to $300 in mid-grades, and ultra-deep cameo proofs have exceeded $500 in specialist sales. Beyond raw numbers, the Kansas quarter carries tales that enrich its mystique. In 2006, a Nebraska coin dealer stumbled upon a sealed box labeled Kansas Test Strikes in a mint storage room at Fort Worth. Those coins displayed unusually strong definition on the buffalo and deeper furrow lines, leading to speculation that they were trial strikes from alternative master dies. Although the mint never formally acknowledged their existence, a handful circulated in collector circles on private forums and at regional shows, stirring debate about official versus unofficial status. Elsewhere, toned Kansas quarters, nicknamed Prairie Sunset for their gradient hues of coppery orange and violet, have emerged from old coin albums, their color transformation striking enough to elevate a $30 baseline piece into a $120 curios. Condition remains king when it comes to pure numismatic value. A raw MS64 kite-marked example with full luster can attract $75 to $90, while an MS65 undisturbed by bag marks or abrasions routinely sells for $120 to $150. Finding an MS66 Kansas quarter is like catching lightning in a bottle. Certified instances number fewer than 20, and auctions place them in the $400 to $600 range. For collectors who chase eye appeal over grade, lightly tumbled pieces with rolling, multicolored toning can outperform higher grades that lack personality. Even so, those seeking the peace of mind of a high-grade and pristine surfaces often invest 10 times more in the gleaming, spot-free examples. Proof-like and deep cameo varieties straddle the fence between circulation errors and specialty strikes. Though not issued as part of the official proof set, these specimens exhibit reflective fields and frosted devices that mimic PF coins. In MS67 PF-like grades, values can soar beyond $700, especially when third-party grading companies certify their cameo contrast. Occasionally, certified PF69 DCAM examples appear on the secondary market, commanding north of $1,000 as collectors vie for the sharpest mirrors and boldest frost. Provenance also influences sale prices. First day covers from the Kansas Historical Society, each bearing a genuine circulation strike embedded in illustrated envelopes, attract premiums of $50 to $75. Unopened rolls from small-town bank branches have a certain romance, especially when accompanied by deposit records or bank statements. One Illinois collector paid $500 in 2023 for a half box of Kansas quarters from a defunct credit union, uncovering several MS65 and error pieces that more than justified the outlay. Those stories reinforce the thrill of searching through bulk lots, where a single well-preserved or mistaken strike can repay hours of effort many times over. Wrapping up this journey through the Kansas quarter's many twists and turns, it becomes clear why this underappreciated design commands such respect among seasoned numismatists. From striking design elements that celebrate the state's pioneering spirit to the subtle minting quirks that separate common strikes from cabinet-worthy rarities, every detail adds depth to your collection. Whether you're hunting for that repunched D, chasing proof-like flashes in circulation, or simply admiring a beautifully toned prairie sunset, the Kansas quarter offers a blend of history, artistry, and market intrigue that keeps collectors coming back roll after roll. In our final segment, we'll tie together both state quarters, explore overarching collecting strategies, and share tips on where to find and authenticate your next numismatic gem.